Jhanisse, thank you so much for joining us in this interview for Canvas. We have a couple of questions regarding the current political situation in Bolivia. Our first one is, what's happening in Bolivia right now?
Thank you. Essentially, what is happening is after we had elections with fraud last year, which were then followed by general nationwide protests demanding that we have clean and fair elections, the Bolivian president at the time, Evo Morales, stepped down due to pressure from different parts of the country, as well as the police and the military refusing to repress peaceful protesters, which then led to a transitional government that should have brought us to have elections as quickly as possible, but due to the pandemic and other economical crises as well, the elections had to be suspended until October the 18th, which is the Sunday. So um, there are four crises: government lacks legitimacy and also support from the normal people. We have an economic crisis because of what COVID has brought. We have a sanitary crisis because of COVID impacting our country really hard. Our health system was not prepared to deal with this kind of pandemics. And last but not least, actually the most important, we have an environmental crisis with fires breaking in different parts of our national forests. So all of these issues are very bad. There is a big polarization between different parts of the population. And the first way to get out of this mess is to have free and fair elections, which is what we didn't get to have last year.
Wonderful, thank you for that. What would you like to tell people following the election outside of Bolivia?
I think it's important that they understand that Bolivia is not a binary society or a black or white type of society as it happens in many Western countries. I think if they want to analyze Bolivia, they have to understand our plurality and understand that what is happening now, the crisis that we're having on us on a societal way, on a political space as well, it's not about one option or the other. There are actually many different points of views of what has happened in Bolivia, what should happen from now on. And one of the first ways where we can fix these divisions and plurality of views, which is democracy in theory should be, is by having elections, which is a democratic exercise recognized by our constitution. So as much as there are different parts of Bolivia that have very different points of view on things, it's not about one end versus another end. That is a very binary dichotomy that applies to many Western societies, but not to Bolivia. We have many nations within our country. We have many types of leadership, both within political parties and civil society. And if foreigners want to somehow understand or support us, the first thing they have to do is to listen to Bolivian voices, us who are living here, instead of guiding themselves by analysis of experts who often look at our country through a Western glass, and they don't realize that our issues are not the same as their ideological problems.
What would you like to tell Bolivians?
I think it's important that we remember that even though we have many different opinions on many different subjects, and that there are many wounds in our country caused by impunity from different governments, not just the Janine Áñez government and the Morales government, but even governments prior to that, it's important that we remember that the only way where we can coexist in a peaceful way is if we actually manage to reinstate democracy and have independence in the different branches of governments and have human rights that are literally respected and obeyed by the different parts of our government, and at the same time that we have peaceful and democratic ways to solve our differences. And sometimes they don't even need to be solved, they just need to be reconciled and understood within each other. And again, the first step to get in that direction is to have a government that is elected by our own decision in this time of crisis, and that means participating in the elections in a peaceful, orderly and respectable way.
Okay, Jhanisse, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. We're sure that a lot of people are going to benefit from the messages you spread today.
Thank you so much for the time and space that you are giving us.